Welcome to today's show entitled Renee King-Sonnen, Vegan, Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, and a Heart of Compassion, Part 1 of 2. Rowdy Girl Sanctuary is the first cattle people ranch in Texas to make the historic switch from raising animal people to being an oasis of compassion. Renee King-Sonnen, the wife of a former multi-generational cattle rancher, began to awaken to the heartbreak of sending cowfolk to slaughter. The pain of separating calves from their mothers became unbearable, and Renee knew she had to save their lives. In 2014, she transformed the ranch into a sanctuary that now provides a safe haven to approximately 100 rescued animal individuals. Rowdy Girl Sanctuary is not only a refuge, it's a center of education and outreach that inspires farmers, activists, and everyday people to choose compassion and go vegan. Renee also co-founded the Rancher Advocacy Program, or RAP, which helps ranchers and animal people raisers make the transition to running sustainable vegan businesses. RAP provides mentorship, practical resources, and business solutions for those ready to make the change. As Miss King-Sonnen says, her journey toward veganism wasn't a sudden leap. It unfolded over time with profound emotional shifts along the way.
I always tell everyone, if you're a cattle rancher and the wife of a cattle rancher and you're living on a cattle ranch in Texas, you don't think about going vegan. It's not something you even remotely consider. So my transition to veganism happened when I didn't even know it. I didn't even know I was going vegan. I thought I was going crazy. And so when I started having feelings for all the cows, particularly Rowdy Girl, who opened my mind, my heart, my soul to the sentience of all the other cows, when that started happening, it took several years, about 4.5 years before that defining moment occurred.
Rowdy Girl is a beautiful cow lady who was adopted by Renee as a young calf. Unable to have children of her own, Renee formed a deep bond with Rowdy Girl, who became more than just an animal companion. She became her daughter.
When I was told about some calves that needed a mama, that's when I went with Tommy and I saw these calves because he pulled at my heartstrings because he knew that I love babies. And I instantly fell in love when Rowdy Girl came bouncing up to me, little bitty black skinny thing. She had a heart on her head and she was bouncy. And I said, "Well, aren't you a little Rowdy Girl?" And the name stuck. Rowdy Girl thrived, and Rowdy Girl became my reason for getting up in the morning, my reason for being excited to get out on the ranch. And Tommy showed me how to bottle feed her.
Rowdy Girl didn't just give Renee a new sense of purpose. She also helped her connect with the entire cow people community in a way she never imagined.
When I was bottle feeding her, the weirdest thing happened. This is very auspicious. When I was bottle feeding Rowdy Girl, she was feeding me like an etheric umbilical cord to all the other cows in the field. So I would feed her, and spiritually, she was feeding me. She was feeding me the wisdom, the knowledge, the way to think about all the cows that were her friends. And I started seeing them through her. I started feeling their feelings through her. I started hearing their cries through her. And so, it became a very symbiotic relationship. And it still is to this day. She's 15 or so right now. And I'm very tuned in to Rowdy Girl. I can, if something was to happen to her, I could feel it instantly. She's like my child. And so she is my child. I don't care if she's a cow, she's my child. And she's taught me so much.
As Renee's awareness grew, so did her questions. She could no longer ignore the feelings and insights Rowdy Girl had awakened in her, and she began confronting difficult truths.
I would just ask Tommy, what happens to him? Because I started having these feelings and he started answering, in ways that didn't make me satisfied. And so I started looking at slaughterhouse videos. I started researching and I found evidence that they were not treated right, that they were, horribly treated. Several years later, and because I wouldn't quit watching the videos and I was causing a lot of trouble in my marriage, I had trouble with the cows going to the sale barn because I'd cry. And I wasn't a vegan. I just didn't like that they left us.
And then came the turning point that led Renee to steadfastly declare that she was vegan.
And then one day on Halloween 2014, that is the day I went vegan, but I didn't plan to go vegan. I was watching a Dr. Melanie Joy dissertation on carnism, and uh, and what I saw was a family eating beef stew. And the lady of the house was serving everyone, and they were eating it. And somebody said, "Oh, this is so good. What's the recipe?" And she said, "You start off with a pound of very young golden retriever." And so when she said golden retriever, I was in a place in my mind to like have a door open. I was like, oh my God, I could be eating a dog because I was there with them in the video and they were also shocked. And then she said, "Oh, just kidding. It's really a cow." But nobody could continue eating their stew because they saw a little puppy dog.
After this, Renee and her husband attended a Halloween party with their extended family. She still had the video lingering in her mind.
My mother in law came out with a pot of beef stew. And when she came out with that pot of beef stew and started to ladle it in my bowl, I just said, I can't eat that. It was just like I saw a dead puppy dog in there. And she said, "Why not?" And I said, "Because it's got chopped up dead bodies in it and I can't eat it." And she was just shocked. And everybody in the room stopped talking. And they looked at me, all the kids, everybody, because I said chopped up dead bodies. And my mother in law said, "Well, Renee, you can pick it out." And I said, "No, ma'am, there is no more picking it out for me." That was the defining moment. That moment, I didn't know I was going vegan, but that moment, I slid down a rabbit hole and I came out roaring.
Elated viewers will pause for a moment now to enjoy the lovely sunshine. When we return, we'll learn how Miss King-Sonnen managed to turn the cattle ranch into a vegan sanctuary. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our show, Renee King-Sonnen, Vegan, Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, and a Heart of Compassion, Part 1 of 2. After boldly declaring that she was vegan, Renee began connecting with like-minded people online. Through Facebook, she met fellow vegans who supported her vision. A friend among them, named Jeannie, encouraged her to start on her upcoming book, The Secret Diary of a Cattle Rancher's Wife. Her raw, heartfelt posts attracted a wide following. Before long, her story caught the attention of Kip Anderson, vegan, co-director of the films Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy. When Renee told him she wanted to buy her husband's cow community and turn it into a sanctuary, Kip suggested she try crowdfunding.
The only way we transitioned our cattle ranch to a sanctuary was for me to go head to head with my husband. And I didn't do it because I was wanting to be mean. It's just that if I would have been responsible for any more animals going to slaughter, I could not have lived with myself. I had to say, "Tommy, what's it going to take for you to let me buy out your business? I need those cows safe. You can't take them to the sale barn anymore. You take them down there, I'm going to follow you and I'm going to buy them all back with your credit card. I'm going to bring them back home. You're not going to do it anymore."
As this was occurring, Tommy Sonnen was not aware of the fact that Renee's online following was growing and of the momentum she was gaining.
And so it turned into this real struggle, power struggle. And so he told me, that if I was going to buy his cows, he didn't believe I could do it, but he was appeasing me. And he said, I'll let you have them, you know, for $30,000. I could probably get 40,000 for them at the sale barn because some are pregnant, some have babies, they make more money. But anyway, I said, okay, 30,000. And he was kind of laughing underneath his breath. And I said to him, can I also lease the land for $1 a year? He said, sure, Renee. I said, for 2 years? He said, sure, Renee. So we did that handshake, and when Tommy makes a deal and shakes your hand, it's as good as gold. You can take it to the bank. And so I went back to Kip and all my friends on that Facebook page, and I told them what I needed to do, and Kip helped me figure out how to do that on Indiegogo crowdfunding. And in less than 4 months, I raised over $30,000 and I bought his cow.
From there, the sanctuary has continued to grow and develop. In May 2018, our beloved Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, graciously provided a humble token contribution of $10,000 to the Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, is deeply grateful as a humble vessel to the beloved Almighty God for any help bestowed upon His precious children. We extend our gratitude to Renee King-Sonnen and Tommy-Sonnen for their compassion, courage, and tenacity in creating a safe haven for our animal friends and for helping to create a vegan world. To learn more about Renee King-Sonnen, please visit rowdygirlsanctuary.org and rancheradvocacy.org. Caring viewers, it has been a pleasure to have your company during today's show. Please join us again on Thursday, August 14th, for Renee King-Sonnen, vegan, Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, and A Heart of Compassion, Part 2 of 2.